Welcome back to a brand new episode of Beyond the Bank Phillies podcast 2025. Happy New Year to everybody. I am your host, Pete, along with my co host, Henry. What is up, my guy?
Just glad to be back.
Glad to be back. The new year, the holidays are over. Hopefully, everybody holidays were good. I know I had good holidays. I hope you did too.
Yeah, of course.
It was a good time to have off, and now we're into the new year, getting prepared for this brand new season. Starting in March. Well, I mean February if you want to count spring training. But yeah, man, it's just we're here. We're talk some Phils, man.
I can't wait. 29 days until pitchers and catchers report. I can't wait.
I
It's
know.
what, 73 days now or 74 days till opening day?
Can't wait.
Even though we'll be in Washington.
Yeah. But hey, I'll take a serious sleep off the rip. That's okay. I'm calling it now. I'm just
Whoa,
saying.
whoa.
I'm just saying.
We
I'm
need to
just saying.
win some games this year. Let's calm down.
Oh man.
As long as it down and away, we'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. And the bullpen doesn't fall apart, whatever. So, but anyway, some things happened since the last time we shot. Phillies made some moves. Um, you know, some of them we were okay with. Some were like, we'll see what happens.
Scratching our heads here.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll get right into it, and I'll start from kind of the first move from last shot. The Phillies signed free agent right fielder Max Kepler. Um, another left-handed bat in the lineup. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes and how Thompson situates that in the lineup. I know last year he kind of had a rough year because I know he dealt with some injuries. His stats were decent. It says he played 105 games. He had 8 homers, 42 RBIs, 22 walks. He had a 253 average, 302 OBP, and a 662 OPS. Pretty good defensively. He's probably going to start in left field, considering the fact that we're probably going to keep Castellanos, I'm guessing, at this point. I mean, how are you feeling about it?
I think it's a decent move. You don't like all the lefties. I know, because whenever I would bring up left-handers before, you're like, I don't want another left-hander, which I understand. But to me, that kind of stuff doesn't really matter as much. Like I'm a guy that if you can put the bat on the ball, and whether you're a power guy or a contact guy, whatever you may be, as long as you put the ball in play, there's not much else that has to be done. I am curious about what the outfielder situation is going to be like if they end up platooning Marsh and Rojas, because we'll see how Marsh hits left-handed pitching this year.
Yeah,
that's going to be something to watch for me for spring training. Is how he hits left-handers and if he's worked on that, because they talk about it and stuff. They talk about whatever they worked on in the offseason. And yeah, I think it's a decent. I think it's a decent pickup as long as they stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing is for him to stay healthy. Just production wise. And hopefully he's not another one that is swinging the bat carelessly. And hopefully if that's the case where he's disciplined enough at the
Chasing,
plate.
yeah.
If he's not chasing, then it maybe goes to the lineup and gets these other guys to stop doing that. Hopefully going into next year. But listen, yeah, I like the move and the whole another lefty in the lineup. But yeah, I wasn't too happy about it, but I mean, like I said, I trust Thompson to make things work in the lineup and stuff like that. And having enough righties in the lineup as well.
Right.
Obviously there's still time for us to sign a couple bats that are still out there that are right-handed hitters or possibly switch hitter. Santander, just saying, still out there. We'll see. But just if he can stay healthy too, that's the main thing. He had a good 2023 season. For going back a little bit, scratching out last
Kepler,
year,
right? You're talking about now?
Yeah, Kepler.
Okay, not there. Okay.
Yeah, 2023 he played 130 games. He had 24 homers, 66 RBIs, 45 walks. Posted a 260 average, 332 OBP, and 816 OPS. So he was doing very well in that season. And like I said, last year, it did decent, but dealt with some injuries. So the production is there. Like he's shown it before, and I mean, I can think back to some times he's played the Phillies when he was with the Twins, and he killed us. So
Yep.
if he could do that for us, that's great against other teams. That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have to face some lefties in the division. So it's
Mm.
definitely gonna be needed. So, and then we move
There's
on
gonna be a lot of
to
tough lefties, especially that guy with the arm slot.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll have to deal with that. Moving on to the pitching side of things, the Phillies actually made a trade with an in-division rival, Miami Marlins. They traded for Jesus Luzardo, and the full trade details was the Phillies traded left fielder Amarian Boyd and shortstop Starlin Caba to Miami for left-hand pitcher Jesus Luzardo and catcher Paul McIntosh. Um, it was tough to see Cabo go. I know a lot of people were high on him. He's highly rated and one of our top prospects. But again, we don't know if we're really going to see him down the line, especially with Trey being here for a lot more years. So
Mhm.
maybe it was stopping him from coming up and stuff like that. So they
Right.
felt like he was the only one that had value that made sense to trade in that situation.
Right.
But I mean, Luzardo, if he can again production wise, I mean, if he can stay healthy, I think it's gonna be a good pickup for us.
Yeah. I like the pickup. And to speak on Kaba just for a second,
Hmm.
everything that I read about Kaba and everything I watched and stuff, excuse me, there was a lot of talk about how he might not have really been pro ready at any point in his career,
Hmm.
um, offensively, to be a major league player.
Yeah.
So to me, if that's what you have to do to get, dare I say, a super rotation,
Hmm.
um, then I think that's the price you pay.
Yeah.
And Boyd is a serviceable outfielder. Like he's nothing to write home about, but he's not bad. That's just that's a that's a move you make, and
Yeah.
you get the catching prospect out of it, who's I believe their 30th ranked prospect in their system,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. So I like the move. I like the move. Lazardo's been good. It's with him. It's the injury problems. It's the injury problems.
Yeah.
He had the bad back and everything, but they're saying he's better than he's ever looked. So I'm hoping that carries some weight, but we'll see.
For sure. Yeah. And look at the stats from last season. He posted a 5 ERA. I'm gonna kind of maybe cut him some slack there, especially if he was dealing with the back injury or whatever it was. That
And he's
was
dealing with a perpetual injury, the Miami Marlins.
exactly. So he wasn't getting some help there, from the lineup or anything of some sorts.
Right.
But I think he'll fit right in, like I said. And hopefully, it was. I'm hoping that maybe he could take Taiwan's spot in that fifth, starting
Dude, they
rotation.
gotta
But
cut him.
yeah, well, I'm not gonna get too much into Taiwan and waste airspace on him. But um, it was weird just because I felt like maybe us signing Lazard or trading for Lazard. I'm sorry, meant that Suarez wasn't going to come back or we're going to trade Suarez, but it seems like he's going to be back for this year.
At least for the
Um,
start of the year.
exactly, yeah, for the start of the year. So I mean, I feel like they're like with him and like Sanchez already being lefties. You throw another left-hander in there, which is fine. Um, but I just figured like, okay, like maybe it means like he'll move into that spot. But listen, if he can be the fifth guy in the rotation, I'm okay with that. I'll take that over Taiwan Walker. Um, so I'm hoping that maybe like that's where he'll fit for us, and then we'll see what happens. I don't think he would throw him in the bullpen to have a bullpen stint. Maybe I don't know. Maybe deeper in the season or especially into the playoffs of some sort. So, um, but yeah, no, I'm excited for it. It's a I feel like it's a low risk. I feel like especially if he could stay healthy and he can
Yeah.
produce at a high level and get
Yeah.
help from the lineup. So I'm excited about it, and listen,
The help from the lineup's gonna be the biggest thing
exactly,
to
yeah, that's
me. Like
yeah,
I think the health is gonna be there, but you know,
yeah. And we can't forget about Andrew Painter too. I mean, if he ends up,
yeah.
coming up this year and you're throwing him into the mix too. I mean, there's a lot there that you can use and there's a lot of options that Thompson can go to.
Yep.
Especially, are we gonna get another great season out of Wheeler? Are we gonna get another, okay season from Nola who pitched? You know what I'm saying? You just got there's other things I gotta think of with this rotation, and age and stuff like that. I mean, I trust those guys to have a good enough season and whatnot, but you just never know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's gonna happen. So it's good to get guys like this. He's still kind of young. And it was a good move by Dave. So
I
I'm okay with it.
I think for Painter, it's going to be a lot of come up late
Hmm.
rather than because I think there's going to be an innings limit on him just because of his arm,
For sure.
his surgery and his rehab and all that stuff. Because in my opinion, he shouldn't pitch for probably the first 2 months of the season.
Probably not. Yeah.
Definitely not in the majors, but the minors I could see, but nowhere in spring training. It's just not worth it.
No, yeah, not at all. And I mean, if anything, he might be the guy who starts out in the bullpen for us. So
Yeah,
it's not like they're just gonna call him up and throw him right in the rotation. Like, yeah, bud, you're starting tomorrow. So they kind of want to ease him into it a little bit, which they should
yeah,
do.
right.
Because it's just with a guy like that, you just want to make sure everything's okay, type of thing. I'm excited for it. I think a lot of people forget about Painter sometimes, in my opinion. I feel like they just don't they keep forgetting. Like we have this guy who if
Yeah,
he comes back healthy, like he could be a top guy in our rotation,
yeah,
especially eventually down the road when Wheeler's not here anymore or Nola. So
yeah.
you know,
Speaking of Painter, I saw a stat. This is from a Phillies tailgate. It says MLB Pipeline asked front office executives from all across all 30 organizations which pitching prospect has the best fastball, and by 4.5%, Andrew Painter won with 19.6. Then it was
okay,
Chase Burns with the Reds, Jacob Mizorowski with the
okay,
Brewers, and Chase Dollander
mhm,
with the Rockies. But Painter won by 4.5%. So
okay,
um, eh, it's around the league that this guy's recognized as one of the top pitching prospects.
mhm,
There's a reason they didn't put him in any trade talks. There's a reason that's where they drew the line. I'm excited for this kid. We'll see what happens.
for sure, yeah, and hopefully he can stay healthy. So,
Yep.
um, so moving off that for a second and going into the bullpen, didn't really make a huge signing in the bullpen these last couple of weeks, but we did lose somebody who was very good for us for the last 2 years in Jeff Hoffman. He recently, a couple days ago, signed with the Toronto Blue Jays, but some brand new news came out today from Mark Bowman. He said that apparently well, first off, let me say this: news broke a couple days ago that Hoffman and the Baltimore Orioles reached an agreement on a 3-year, $40 million contract earlier this week. Sources say the Orioles, however, flagged Hoffman's physical. Two sources say it was his right shoulder. That was about 3 days ago, and then
Yes.
today, Mark Bowman he released a statement saying Jeff Hoffman also failed a physical with the Atlanta Braves. So there was those two teams that flagged him on a physical with his right shoulder, apparently. And I mean, if Hoffman would have went to the Braves, that would have been just absolutely terrible, and I would have
Yeah.
wanted to vomit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I would have been miserable.
but it almost we talked about it earlier, we are texting about it, but it kind of almost makes us feel better in a way about maybe not giving him the contract that we thought that he was going to get. And I'm not saying like it's great to hear that like he's like failed the physical. I want him to be healthy. I want him
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do well in wherever team he goes to
Right.
after us. But it's kind of starting to make a little bit sense here with that
Yeah.
whole situation.
It's not an excuse. It's more of an explanation. Like this is why we didn't
Mhm.
sign him back. Because you heard rumblings the whole time about he's probably not coming back.
Yeah,
Uh,
anyone to start
exactly. Yeah. Well, I think that was up in the air. I don't think he'll start now. I think it'll be a closer role, especially considering the damage in his shoulder.
for sure.
Um, but I wasn't surprised by the news. I was disappointed, but I was not surprised.
Yeah.
And he's just going to go rot in Toronto now, so it won't really matter.
Yeah, for sure. That's his thing. I
I
mean,
mean, like,
all
like it's not like he went to like some contender, you know?
exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing with Toronto. It's like they're like, "Oh, we finally made a move," and it's Jeff Hoffman. Like,
Yeah,
listen, I
well,
mean, Jeff Hoffman's
this is the
good,
first
but
guy they weren't like a finalist for, but didn't get.
yeah, I was kind of in the same boat with Hoffman. I wasn't really shocked. It sucked to see, but I just felt like sooner or later we're gonna get the announcement that he wasn't signing back. It just seemed like there was something going on that just didn't give me a good feeling. They obviously signed Jordan Romano, which ironically from the played with the Blue Jays, so it's almost like people were saying like we basically just traded Jeff Hoffman for Jordan Romano, which doesn't sound great when you say it, but yeah, I just feel like it like I said, it makes sense now. If it was the years that how many years he wanted, or just the money, or it was because that like something was wrong with his shoulder, possibly. Like they knew
Right.
about something that wasn't right, and they were just like, we can't commit to that. We don't know
And
what to expect from you.
and pitching wise, we have enough health problems in the bullpen as it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's just not worth the risk, and you don't
No.
want to, you don't want to be the team that guy blows his arm out on. To be honest,
Exactly. Yeah.
as ridiculous as that sounds, you just don't want to be the team to lose somebody like that.
No, absolutely not.
Because then you're
And
forced to call a guy up from AAA, and then
yep,
it's just a domino effect.
for sure. Yeah. And the other thing is too. I mean, listen, like whatever amount of money they were discussing with him and possibly doing, maybe like if anything, they said, listen, we'll pass on this and let him go, search for other opportunities and save that money for possibly somebody else they can get in the bullpen that's still available
Yeah.
out there. There's still some arms out there that make sense for this bullpen, aka
So,
Tanner Scott. But
what about there's this guy that was on the Orioles last year, Craig Kimbrell.
yeah, no. No. I thought we agreed that we're not gonna bring his name up on this podcast anymore.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, come on now.
That's a fair point. I shouldn't have even said anything.
Nah, but like,
If I say he's like Beetlejuice, if I say his name 3 times, they're gonna be like breaking news.
yeah, exactly.
Signing.
but there's still some like good arms out there for the bullpen that we can get. Like I said, Tanner Scott, he's still available. He's still out there. I know maybe he might be demanding a lot of money. Kirby Yates' name has come up. Kyle Finnegan.
I've seen that. I've seen Kirby Yates' name a lot.
Yeah, Kirby Yates. Looking through some other ones that are still available. Trying to see if there's anyone that really stands out to me. Kenley Jansen, I've seen his name. Somebody possibly, predicting that he would sign with the Phillies. But I don't know. There's just some of those names out there that maybe they might be reliable for a couple innings. We don't know. But yeah, I just with Hoffman, it's just like I said, it's unfortunate to see him go. And, hopefully that like the whole shoulder thing is not too bad and that he is able to pitch at the level we know he can. But it is what it is. And, he did his job here, and, he posted on Instagram thanking the fans and, giving him life again and whatnot. And it was emotional to see and read. And, I'll never forget what he's done for us. And, it's always going to hurt me now, like knowing that we couldn't get the job done in 2023.
With
and
him. Yeah. I know.
So it's that type of stuff is going to stick with me. But hey, I wish him the best, and hopefully he plays well for Toronto.
Yeah, I think that I think he'll be successful there.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up about the bullpen, just go on a quick sidebar about the bullpen just for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
2 relievers from the opening day roster in 2024 are left on the 40-man roster right now.
Okay.
It's Jose Alvarado and Matt Strom. Hoffman went to the Blue Jays. Luis Ortiz signed with the Mets. Junior Marte's with the Mariners. Connor Brogdon's with the Angels. R.I.P. to his career.
Yeah.
World champ.
I was gonna say he got a ring.
World champ. Yeah, unbelievable.
Wow.
Gregory Soto with the Orioles and Sir Anthony with the Orioles. Like, I don't know what the plan is for this bullpen, and there's not like this is a surefire answer to all the problems because we only have 2 guys.
Yeah.
We only have 2 guys. It just I don't know what the vision is. Of course, I don't get paid for that. They do.
Yeah.
But I don't see a path here where everybody's like, oh no, this will just work out so quick. No. It feels like we're losing steps rather than gaining them.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I can see that. And I've had those thoughts too, but at the same time, I've tried to tell myself that like I'm just trusting whatever Dabrowski and them are seeing right now. And I don't know. Like I said, there is still a little bit more time left for us to sign some people. I know, the whole pattern the last couple of years is that some of these guys sign like right before spring training. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's going to be the same situation for us.
I don't think that's what's going to happen. Honestly, I don't. I mean,
yeah.
Right now it's kind of like it is right before spring training.
Mhm.
at this point. But I don't think it's going to be this guy held out till a week before opening day. I don't think that's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
think Boris
just
learned his lesson.
for sure, yeah. I just
Hence
hope,
why
we
Blake
get somebody.
Snell signed in December or November.
I got you. Yeah, well, listen, it's just definitely gotta. That's the part right now that we're looking at is the bullpen. So I mean that
Yeah.
is right there is the main focus on getting that better and hopefully Jordan Romano not being the only signing that we get for this bullpen. So and depending on him, so can't put all the weight on his shoulders. So
I exactly. If you had to pick two free agents right now, um, for your bullpen, who would you pick?
well, obviously I'm going Tanner Scott.
Obviously Tanner Scott. Who's your other one?
Uh, I mean, looking through some of the ones that are listed right now. Obviously, I mean, like I just named another lefty, and I think we need to chill on the left-handed relief pitchers because I
Yeah,
think we have
right.
enough at that point. So if I was gonna go like right-handed pitcher, if I'm looking down the line here, um, I know there's been talk about the Tommy Conley dude that was with the Yankees last year. I know his name has been kind of in the mix as well. I wouldn't mind somebody like that who he looked reliable in the postseason. So if he can pitch well on that stage, then he might be reliable.
What about Paul Sewald?
Paul Sewald, I was really literally gonna say that right before I said Conley, but like yeah, a guy like Paul Sewald, experience, he can pitch on the big
He
stage.
only pitched 42 games last year, but
Yeah,
he's got the experience.
yeah,
I just it's gonna be an interesting next month and a half, dude. A very interesting month and a half.
a guy like Jose Leclerc, however you say his. I remember the guy with the Rangers when they won. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
listen. I mean he's
I yeah, yeah. No, yeah. I
somebody like
mean,
that. I mean somebody that has experience,
it's
somebody
just
that
like
we get
why are we
dependable.
having to pull these guys like out of nowhere? Like it's
I-
just not we shouldn't be in this situation, but
No,
whatever.
I know, but well, we are. But hey, and Paul Sewald, like, well, he's had some experience pitching at Citizens Bank Park. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah, a little too much. Anyway,
a little too much, but hey,
whatever.
whatever. I don't know. Just
We'll build a pool for him when
yeah,
he comes
exactly.
here.
Listen, just like I said, just you need to get somebody else. You need to get somebody else. Like just dude, if I have to have stress about the bullpen this year, like I it might send me into like a downward spiral. I can't lie. Like
That's what I'm
I
saying. Last
I
year it
can't
was
do it.
like, oh no, like we finally got to the bullpen. Whew, we're in the clear. A run or less, generally, a run or less. It's like
Yeah.
we're good. Not this year.
And the other thing is too, if they do sign another, relief pitcher, then they gotta focus on who is going to be that main closer. Like who is going to
Yeah.
take the ball in the ninth inning and put the game away for us, and we're not going to
Do
have
you
to worry
think
about it.
Estevez comes back for that or no?
I feel like
I just
Estevez,
don't think he has the interest from other teams right now.
he
I
might be
don't.
the fallback plan. I feel like I feel
Yeah.
like if it gets close, like too close to call for Dombrowski, he's just gonna say, okay, let's just bring Estevez back, and we can at
Right.
least say we have somebody who's familiar with the ball club and
Right.
whatnot. So I feel like he's the fallback plan, and I mean if he comes back, whatever. Like I'm like
I
fine,
think if you
just
get him 2
see what
years, 20
happens.
million, I don't think that's too bad.
2 years, 20 million.
It's
Yeah, like
less.
that's
It's less than the Hoffman gets paid,
yeah,
but they might use that to their advantage bargaining because Hoffman has a damaged shoulder. So we'll see. I don't
for
know.
sure. Like I said, just if they do sign with somebody, get the closing situation figured out, and just
Yeah,
name
I
somebody,
think we
please.
have to have a closer, like you said. This closer by committee, we have to have a closer. I'm not dealing with this again.
Yeah, I'm not doing the whole like, oh, well, he's gonna close one day, he's gonna close. No, just figure somebody out who's going to be closing in
I
that
think
position and just call it a day.
we discussed it the other day. Kirkring should be the closer.
Yeah, I've praised Kirkering. We've praised Kirkering before. I feel
Yeah,
like he's
yeah.
definitely can earn the spot to be that
And his
guy for
jitters
us.
are out. His jitters are completely out.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's got enough under his belt now where he doesn't have to worry about their small things. Like and listen, if he's developing the fastball, he's getting better at that. That showed a lot last year. Then that's the key right there for him. That is it. Like developing the fastball and just getting better at that. So
Yeah, yeah.
listen, it's just I can tell right now, like if it's gonna be one thing that I'm gonna be stressing about this upcoming season, it's gonna be the bullpen. I can just see
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
bullpen,
yeah.
the
Yep.
lineup is the lineup, and we'll see what happens with that. Like I'm not. That's like number 2 on my list, but like number 1 is probably gonna be the bullpen. So
Yeah.
Here we go. I just are we back to the Hector Neris days? Like
Stop,
I'm having
dude.
the
Don't.
stress about the bullpen. Like I'm
Oh my
not I'm
god.
not down to go through that again. Just letting you know. So I'm just saying. So they're gonna sign David Robinson
Bro,
back or
shut up.
something like
I
that.
don't
So
even.
I don't know. I don't know. But anyway. So
Oh my
all
gosh.
right, moving off of the bullpen talk right now. Want to talk about some of the salary arbitration situation that went down, I think, last week or so, or a couple days
Mhm.
ago, that they announced. So, according to Todd Zalecki, on January 9th, the Phillies and 6 players agreed to 2025 contracts to avoid salary arbitration. I'm just going to read out the ones or the 6 players that were listed, and then you can give your thoughts about it because I already know about one player that you're going to talk about to me because I was praising for us to trade him. But anyway,
Of course.
so
Go
to,
ahead.
st- to start off, Ranger Suarez for 1 year, 8.8 mil. Alec Boehm for 1 year, 7.7 mil. Bryson Stott, 3.2 mil. Brandon Marsh, 3 mil. Jesus Luzardo, 6.2 million, which is huge. I feel like, and to kind of get that situated with him. And then Mundo Sosa, 3 million. Thank God he's coming back. I love Sosa. I feel like he's a
Yeah.
great bench guy. He filled in great last year when Turner was out for a couple of weeks with the hammy
Yep.
injury. But yeah, those are the 6 guys that we settled the whole arbitration situation. So go ahead.
I frankly, I told you so first. Yeah, I'm not shocked that Bohm was able to avoid arbitration this year. I think it was a combination of his production last year. He was good in the 4 hole for majority of the year, as much as people like to say he wasn't. I
Yeah.
know there was somewhat of an attitude problem, and I get that, and I think that needs to change. But uh, I think it was a mix of the production last year and the lack of a third baseman market, whether that be free agents or whoever's available for trade.
Yeah.
Because I think Bregman's asking for a little too much money. He's another aging star. We don't need another one of those.
Yeah.
I'm not into that. So that's the one that stood out to me. I think everybody else, I expected to be back. Um, I am surprised that they didn't try to sign Stott or Bohm somewhat long term.
Hmm.
And if it would be Bohm, it would have to be a contract that somebody else agrees to if they want to trade him and blah blah. But I am surprised that they're just staying with these arbitration years, and it is to save money. I get it, but those chickens are going to come home to roost sometime, and you're going to have to make a choice. I think Stott's due for a very big year this year. I do.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely see Stott, doing way better than he did last year. And I definitely do think he will eventually get his extension. I do. I said to you a couple
Yeah,
of days ago and texted you, said, like, wouldn't be surprised to see Stott get an extension soon. I feel like, he is the lockdown second baseman for us for
right.
as long as we can, or as long as he wants to be here. And yeah, I mean, other than, like I said, like I wasn't too surprised for most of these guys coming back. I mean, I know I was saying like boom, try to trade him, get somebody else. I know I was on that train. Um, but I figured that it seemed like it was going in the direction of like we're probably gonna bring him back. Like it's just the writing was on the wall. I felt like,
Yeah.
and if they settle it, cool, awesome. Like if he agrees to it, he wants to come back, even though his name was out there and he didn't take that to heart, then if
I
he's cool
I
with it,
think
cool.
that shows a lot about him
For sure, yeah.
that he could just take it as this is just business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely. It just is. So, and listen, if that means it's going to drive him to do better this year or even a lot better than what he did last year, especially in the first half, before his injury and then the whole attitude thing, if that gets
yeah,
fixed, then cool. Listen, at the end of the day, like I said, I know I was on the train of trading him. I want to see improvement with the whole attitude thing. I just want to see that get handled. And if that's the case, and you just, play well, awesome. That's all I want to see is just improvement. That's it. Like
yep,
I just the other stuff, is what it is. Like I said, Suarez, he'll be back. That's it's great to see. I love Suarez. I just I didn't know if where they were gonna try to trade him or if he wasn't gonna come back. So I guess it's good to know that most of this stuff has settled and that we can move on, especially when it comes to Alec Boehm.
Yeah.
It's good to see. Like I said, Sosa, it's awesome to see him coming back. I love Sosa.
Yeah.
And then Brandon Marsh. I mean, they seem like pretty committed with him. Like
Yeah.
having him center
But he's
field or
gonna
left
have to
field.
he's gonna have to understand when it comes time for his contract,
Yeah.
you're not uh you're like a fringe guy,
Hmm.
a fringe starter on any common team, but this team you're gonna have to be a platoon guy, or we'll use you in the right way. But I think he's accepted his role and they kind of realizing what he can do.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, I don't know if you saw, but he was ranked number 6
I
as a
did
center
see
fielder for
that.
the league. I mean,
I'd like the crack they were smoking.
I was a little shocked. I mean, first of all, he
Yeah,
didn't play center field every game last year, but
almost
whatever.
at all.
It's exactly.
Like almost at all. Like
It's just
thanks,
like,
man.
yeah. I
Jeez.
mean, awesome, I guess. But yeah, no, like I said, it's good to see that all this got settled and we can move on now. So we,
Yeah.
bring these guys back and we'll see what happens. So it's listen. At least it's good to bring some of the core guys back.
Yes. Yes.
Like I
We
said,
need
like
some continuity.
yeah, Bryce, Castellanos, Turner, like they're all staying obviously still. And you weren't gonna see, I know Castellanos' name was in trade talks earlier in the off season, but
He's been in
I
trade
was
talk since he got here.
yeah, and I always felt like he was like not gonna leave. So it is what it is. And then I mean like with JT, it's like, you know, just gotta see what happens with him and hopefully he's healthy. But anyway, but yeah, so all the salary arbitration is figured out and good. So onwards we go,
Yes.
and no more trade talks for Bohm, I guess. So
Yes. Thank God.
as we look ahead to the 2025 season, make sure you are prepared with new Philly sports gear. Go to website phillygoat.com to get new Philly sports merch and use the code BTVPod for 10% off your next order. Beyond the Bank is proud to be an affiliate with Philly Goat. As always, go Phils.
All right. So for our last little bit here, I wanted to ask you, or I wanted to talk about the new Sixers arena that's going uh into South Philly into the sports complex, and more
Yeah.
so what it means for the Phillies. We don't care about the Sixers here. It's too much.
Yeah.
Whatever. Push them to
Yeah.
the side.
Exactly.
But if nobody knows what I'm talking about, the Sixers posted today, the Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment group and Comcast Spectacor came to an agreement today uh, to announce a joint venture to build a world-class arena in South Philly, as well as revitalize Market East. Market East is the area near Chinatown where they were going to put the new 76ers arena, but they opted to stay in the sports complex with Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Eagles, and Citizens Bank Park, obviously home of the Phillies. So I wanted to run this by you. So it seems like they're going to put, obviously, like they said, they're going to put it in the sports complex. I think they're
Mhm.
going to revamp the sports complex. So my question to you is, what do you think is going to happen with Citizens Bank Park? Do you think it's going to be one of those stadiums since in the last it is 20 years old, but
Mhm.
it's one of the first 5 stadiums of that modern era, quote unquote, that started
Yeah.
with Camden Yards and so on and so forth. Do you think it's just going to be upgraded and cleaned up and things like that? Not that it's a bad stadium, but things could definitely be better.
Mhm.
Do you think it's going to be upgraded rather than replaced? And what do you
Yeah.
think this Sixers staying means for the Phillies? I have a
Um.
couple of opinions. I want to get yours first.
No, for sure. And honestly, it first off, I'm glad to hear that the Sixers like they'll be staying in South Philly. I think the complex has always been a great idea for all sports teams.
Right.
I just feel like in my opinion, it's a lot easier. Like obviously,
Mhm.
it's easier for me to say that because I don't live in like a crazy city where the stadium's in the middle of it. Or,
Yeah.
for example, like Boston, like they're right in the middle
Right.
of the city. Like
Mhm.
those people enjoy that type of stuff, take the train, whatever, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But I personally, I don't feel like Citizens Bank Park we get too affected by it. Yeah, I think they'll upgrade stuff like maybe around the ballpark specifically. Maybe to help out make things better for whatever new is coming in the next couple of years. Um, but I think it's just really small things. I don't think it's gonna get replaced.
Mhm.
I think it holds too much of a special spot in that complex to a lot of fans. Even if they definitely thought about it, I don't think it would really, sit well with the fan base.
Yeah.
It just goes to show with the Sixers not moving to Center City that like, a lot of people weren't loving it, and that definitely was in their ear. Can't
Yeah.
come to the decision to, backtrack on it and not
For
do it.
sure. for sure.
Um, yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with, especially with like the casino being there live.
Mhm,
I think that plays a lot into it as well, with that being like right in the complex, basically.
mhm.
Or I guess you could say outside of it technically if
Right,
you're
right, right.
talking. But yeah, I just think if anything's gonna get updated, it's gonna be just specific things really close to the
Actually
ballpark.
around the stadium and in
Exactly.
the stadium rather than the whole ballpark itself.
Yeah, and now
Okay.
like with maybe parking might change a little bit with some of the lots. Like that
Yeah.
stuff might probably get changed. But no, I don't think it's gonna like be anything crazy where it like gets replaced or anything like that.
Yeah. So I feel the same as you. I do think that this to me means that the next Philly stadium, whenever that may be,
Mhm.
20 years, 40 years from now, whenever that may be,
Yeah.
it will stay in a sports complex or in the Navy Yard or somewhere around there. It will be in South Philadelphia. It won't be in the center of the city. I don't think that Philly's that kind of city. I do see where people are coming from, how they like some people, like you said, some people like jumping on a train and being able to get right there.
Yeah.
NRG station is right there as well.
Yeah.
But I think in the next 10 years, that sports complex will not look like what it does now. I think
No, no.
Citizens Bank Park will stay there. But I do think that the Sixers staying and joining and doing a 50-50 split arena with the Flyers, I
Mhm.
think that signifies to me that whenever the link goes down for the Eagles, um, they're gonna build their new stadium in the sports complex, and I think ultimately the Phillies end up staying in the
Yeah.
sports complex for a long time after this. The bank has kind of this mystique, this aura about it, and like you said, I think that like Citizens Bank Park means a lot to people. I know it means a lot to us.
Mhm.
There's a lot of memories there. I mean, it's a 20-year-old stadium now, about to be in its 21st season. So I think that it's. I don't think that there's a bad thing that could happen. Um, I think it's all positive.
Yeah.
Uh, with this new complex or this new arena. I think it's going to mean nothing but success for the sports teams coming up. I just wanted to get your opinion on that as far as the Phillies go,
Yeah, for
because that
sure.
does affect them quite a bit. But I think you're right. Parking will be affected, but in my opinion, I think that parking will be affected in a good way. So that way, they might let more people tailgate because
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can't tailgate in those lots right next to like the Toyota lot or whatever it is, the one right next to the stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, you can't tailgate in that one, so I think that might help a little bit. Um, but yeah, so I was really happy to see that news, but I think it's going to benefit all the teams in a major way. So yeah,
For sure,
I
yeah,
mean,
and I think like with the whole parking thing, it's just like um, you realize that obviously all the stadiums like they work together to like use other lots. Like if there's an event going on, and need more
right,
parking or whatever, which is fine. But it's just like you think about it, it's like, man, like maybe they add a little bit more parking, so it's like if there's a big event going on, but then like there's also a sports game going on at the other one, like it's not
right,
causing so much traffic. Which I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
listen, they do
Well,
that like with the whole scheduling thing. They always usually work that out, but just for the future and making things a lot better, it would help. You know what I'm saying? So
2 years ago, I don't know if you remember, it was the day of the Diamondbacks game where we won. I think it was like we won like 10 to whatever. No,
mhm.
it was the day before that. It was the one where when was that?
Schwarber he led off with a homer against Gallen.
No, maybe it wasn't the Diamondbacks. Maybe it was the Braves. I don't remember.
Okay.
Uh, but they had um the World Cup or the international soccer game at the link.
Yeah.
They had a Flyers or a Sixers game, and then they had a Phillies game, and it was all essentially at the same time.
Yeah.
It was a madhouse down there, but it all worked itself out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I just think I think like I said, I think it's a good move for all parties involved. I'm excited to see what it does for the Phillies though. Just as
Yeah,
far
me
as
too.
maybe they'll have their own theme bar down there. Like you don't know, you never know. So that would be
Hey,
cool. That would be
I'm
cool.
with that. You got me on
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
Sign me up, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I know.
give me
But
another reason to go there when I don't
yeah,
need to.
right.
So,
Exactly, exactly. And I won't even have to
well,
buy a ticket.
I don't want to say it like that.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah, yeah.
if
Right,
I could
right.
live at Citizens Bank Park, I would.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
I'd
sounds
sleep in
weird.
the dugout. Yeah.
Sleep in the dugout. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe one of the suites. I don't know. Whatever. But
Right. Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
at the end of the day, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And excited to see what happens. So,
Yeah, definitely.
but yeah. So that's probably about it for us today. I mean, we just wanted to kind of catch up, do some house cleaning on some things that have happened the last couple of weeks, especially throughout the holidays and stuff like that. I missed podcasting for a couple of weeks too,
Me
and
too.
I
Yeah, it
was
was nice.
sick for a little bit during New Year's. I lost my voice, and I'm like, I gotta like prepare myself to come back. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But listen, man, it's getting closer and closer. And once February hits, it's like we're gonna have baseball again. So
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm excited. I can't wait till football is over. I know, like it's just like
I
I'm
know.
ready for it to be like over
My
and
team my
baseball.
team's still alive, so
Yeah, it is. So you're still
I'm holding
following.
on.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
holding
holding
on.
on, but I just want baseball to be the main focus again. I can't wait. I need the
Yeah.
warm weather
Yeah.
too. I'm tired of this cold weather. Can't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but
Dude,
yeah,
when
we
I
got
hit when that Florida air hits my skin the
yeah,
last week of February, man.
yeah. Henry's going to spring training for anybody that
Yes,
doesn't know.
I
So
I, I will be a happy guy.
yeah, so he'll be posting on the Instagram and stuff like that,
Definitely,
getting us
absolutely.
some videos. And then there's some other things in store for us that we're going to be upgrading. Definitely going to be looking into some live shoots soon in person.
Yep.
Me and Henry will be together in the studio, so we're working on that right now.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
That'll
yeah,
be
it's
fun.
gonna be great. So, and we'll keep telling you guys about it and stuff like that. We'll update you, and we're
That
gonna
has some
probably
cool things in the works too
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
when the season comes around.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll probably shoot again in the next couple of weeks if anything crazy happens, do emergency pod and stuff like that. But other than that, like I said, keep up with the stuff on the social media
Mhm.
platforms and
Like,
whatnot. We'll
share,
keep you guys updated.
subscribe,
Yeah, for
follow,
sure. Yep, do all that. Look at the
retweet.
TikToks.
You know,
Yep, and listen to any episodes from last season and stuff like that. We appreciate it. I know we've been getting some downloads the last couple of weeks. If somebody was listening consistently, shout
must
out
have
to
been.
you. Yeah, shout out to you. We appreciate that support so much. But yeah, you got anything else?
No, nope. Go Phils.
All right, go Phils. Out of here. Peace.